beers today. We have all that and more coming right up. But first, a quick word from our sponsors.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
To the big-hearted, the bold, the teachers, the growers, the builders, the change makers. We need you. We are the Peace Corps. In more than 60 countries, we go the distance to make a difference. We're volunteers, partners, communities, bringing our experience, joy, and passion to building a better world together. Are you looking for more? Then we are looking for you. Join us at peacecorps.gov.
Welcome back. Here's our news segment. For starters, here at USM, the University of Southern Mississippi is launching a brand new hospitality passport program starting in fall 2026. The initiative is designed to give students in the hospitality and tourism management program real-world experience and industry-recognized credentials before they graduate. Instead of requiring students to earn certifications outside the classroom, the program builds those credentials directly into coursework, helping students develop job-ready skills. Students will train across key areas, including hotel and casino management, food and beverage operations, event planning, and travel and tourism. They will also have the opportunity to earn certifications such as ServSafe, Hotel Analytics credentials, and event management certifications, qualifications that are widely valued by employers in the tourism field. University leaders say the program was created based on industry feedback and is aimed at better preparing graduates for careers in Mississippi's growing tourism sector. Officials say the goal is to close the gap between classroom learning and workforce expectations, giving students a competitive edge in the hospitality industry. And in Mississippi news, and this is really evident to anyone who's been to any liquor stores or anyone who works in hospitality in general, Mississippi is continuing to face an alcohol shortage tied to ongoing problems at the state's Alcoholic Beverage Control Warehouse, also known as ABC. The issue stems from a massive backlog of orders caused by technical failures, including software problems and equipment issues at the warehouse. Liquor stores, bars, and restaurants across the state say shipments have been delayed for weeks and, in some cases, months, with some businesses receiving only partial orders or none at all. As a result, shelves are running low or completely empty, and some businesses report losing significant revenue while struggling to keep customers satisfied. Lawmakers are now considering solutions, including allowing businesses to bypass the state system and purchase alcohol directly from suppliers. Officials say the backlog may take months to fully resolve, and until then, shortages are expected to continue affecting businesses statewide. And in other Mississippi news, the city of Jackson is considering a new approach to tackling homelessness by partnering with a private consulting firm known as Clutch. The Houston-based group uses a housing-first model focusing on quickly removing people off the street and into permanent housing rather than temporary shelters. The plan could cost nearly $10 million over 2 years, with some funding coming from federal pandemic relief money and the rest needing to be raised. If approved, the program aims to help around 300 unsheltered people find housing and would begin by clearing downtown encampments. The strategy may include paying rent deposits, covering utilities, or even helping individuals return to their hometowns, depending on their needs. Officials also say many people experience homelessness also face mental health and addiction challenges, which could make the transition more difficult and require additional support services. City leaders are still reviewing the proposal, and no final contract has been signed. And finally, in national news, the United States and Iran have agreed to a temporary 2-week ceasefire, pausing weeks of escalating conflict. The deal was reached just before a U.S. deadline for potential new strikes on Iranian targets. As part of the agreement, Iran will reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a critical global oil route, while both sides halt attacks. President Donald Trump says the U.S. achieved its objectives and called the move a victory, while Iranian officials are also claiming success, highlighting deep disagreements between the two sides. The ceasefire is temporary and tensions remain high. U.S. military leaders say they are ready to resume fighting if negotiations fail or as needed. Talks are expected to continue in Pakistan, where mediators are working to turn the pause in fighting into a longer-term agreement. And despite the ceasefire, instability continues across the region, and officials warn this does not mean that the war is over. That's been your news update from Southern Miss Today. Next, we'll have the latest in sports and weather, so stay tuned. We'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from Furniture Direct, with locations in Hattiesburg, Laurel, and Columbia. Are you looking for a good deal, lots of styles, and a good value? You can find them on Facebook at Furniture Direct Hattiesburg for the latest specials and promotions. Or you can shop anytime at FurnitureDirectNow.com. You can see why Furniture Direct is your furniture destination.
And welcome back to the sports and weather segment. So, starting off in sports, as usual, in Southern Miss baseball, they picked up a dramatic walk-off win over New Orleans, defeating the Privateers 3-2 in Hattiesburg. The game was tied in the bottom of the ninth when Matthew Russo delivered the game-winning RBI single up the middle, scoring Joey Urban. Southern Miss trailed early after giving up 2 runs in the first inning. They responded with single runs in the second and sixth to even the score. The Golden Eagles pitching staff was dominant after that opening frame, shutting out New Orleans the rest of the way and stranding 15 runners. Kobe Allen earned a win in relief, closing out the final 3 innings. With the victory, Southern Miss improves to 24-9 on the season and continues its strong run of close games. The Golden Eagles now head on the road for a conference series against Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, this weekend. And in tennis, Southern Miss women's tennis made program history with a 4-3 win over Tulane in Hattiesburg. The victory marks the Golden Eagles' first ever win against Tulane, snapping a 0-10 all-time record in the series. Southern Miss took an early lead by winning the doubles point, securing 2 of the 3 matches to go 1-0. Tulane responded in singles play, winning 2 matches to briefly take a 2-1 advantage. But the Golden Eagles rallied with 3 key singles victories. Hannah Chambers and Sakura Sudo each earned wins, setting up Miranda Zhu, who clinched the match with a comeback victory in 3 sets. The win improves Southern Miss to 8-7 on the season and closes out their home schedule on a high note. The team will now head on the road for its final regular season matches before conference tournament play begins. And as usual, Southern Miss Athletics has a busy stretch of competition coming up across multiple sports. The softball team is set to face Southeastern in Hattiesburg on April 8th at 5 p.m. Track and field will travel to compete in a Crimson Tide Invitational on April 10th. That same day, the women's tennis hits the road for a 3 p.m. matchup against UAB, while women's soccer will host Mississippi Gulf Coast. Baseball also returns to action on April 10th, traveling to take on Louisiana in a 6 p.m. game. For more information, as usual, you can go to USM Athletics website. And as for the weather, as many people probably have noticed, we have hit a bit of a cold front. The low for today is a staggering 51 degrees, while the high is 76 degrees. Expect the temperatures for the rest of the week to stay consistent around those temperatures before rising to the low 80s going into next week. Also, expect nothing but cloudy days all the way up to next Friday in temperatures that feel like the 60s. So remember to stay warm. That has been your weather. Up next, we have Mississippi Moments produced by the Center of Oral History and Cultural Heritage with Betty McGee recalling collecting rainwater and from her father's well. Check her out.
This is Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi, and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. Today, almost 43 million Americans get their drinking water from private wells. Betty McGee remembers collecting rainwater to drink and why her father dug a well on their farm.
All the time we lived in Scotland, we had an upper ground tank with a platform and wonderful soft water that came off the roof. You got used to the way it tastes. You didn't even think about the dirt that was in the bottom of the tank that had come off the roof every time it rained. didn't worry too much about the little wiggle tails that were in the water in the summertime, floating around on the top where the mosquitoes were being developed. If you had wiggle tails in your water, you just blew them off and went on and drank the water. We used to take typhoid shots, though, but we got along, we were real healthy and didn't seem to bother us. I guess it was after we moved up to Arnolia that Daddy put down a deep well, and that was the source of water from then on.
To learn more, subscribe to the Mississippi Moments podcast or visit cohch.org. Mississippi Moments is sponsored by the Mississippi Humanities Council. The humanities are for everyone.
That was your Mississippi Moment for today. Coming up, we have the pleasure of hearing from renowned world touring artist Bryan Bielanski to talk about performing at Hub City Beers. But first, we have a quick message from our sponsors. Stay tuned.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277, and the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
Welcome back. I'm here with world touring artist Bryan Bielanski. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Thomas. Thanks. I hope you are too.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Just slightly colder than it has been for the past couple of weeks. We had a little bit of like some warm temperatures, and now it's back a little cold. So, but you are here in Hattiesburg to perform at Hub City Beers today at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. But for our listeners who may not be familiar, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. I am a traveling musician from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm on tour promoting my latest album, Brian's Super Happy Fun Time 4. And I'm on my way to the West Coast, and, I always make a stop in Hattiesburg, usually on my way out to the West Coast and going back to North Carolina from the West Coast. Hub City Beers there, the owners there have been really great, really supportive. The audience there, it's great. I always love coming to Hattiesburg, and I have to thank y'all here at Southern Miss for having me back on the show here.
Yeah, of course. It's no problem. So, I guess my first question would be, because, normally we have questions for these things, but didn't have really a chance to prepare them. So I guess my first question would be, how did you get started? At what moment did you really go, this is what I need to be doing or should be doing?
So it was definitely when I was a teenager and I heard Nirvana's music for the first time. So I thought that was ironic that they played a few minutes before the interview started here. They were definitely one of my main biggest influences, and then also just a lot of the old school rock and roll, like the Beatles, Elvis, Buddy Holly. Those are the kind of things that my parents were listening to when I was a little kid. As a matter of fact, my earliest memories in childhood are like me in my crib as a little baby, watching my parents and my older sister dance to rock and roll records. So it's been in my blood since I was a little baby.
That's really amazing. So you are, as you said, a traveling musician. So it seems as if you are well traveled. From my understanding, you have been to a lot of places, actually.
Well, yeah, I have performed in 49 of the 50 United States and 28 countries abroad. I actually hit a milestone last year and performed 311 shows in the U.S. and 16 different countries. So that was my record. My previous record was 250 shows in 1 year. So it felt really good to smash the record. I don't know if I'll get all the way back up to 300 this year, but I'll try.
Yeah, I mean, of course. What was the one state that you didn't get to visit? Was it Alaska?
You guessed it.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of people incorrectly guess Hawaii, but I actually got to make it to Hawaii for a couple shows. Alaska, but one day, they're on my bucket list. I'll make it there one day.
So I'm kind of curious with all of the touring and stuff. How does that play with just like the time management, and I'm sure that like takes a lot of like just logistics and wear and tear on your body. Like I run track here, so every weekend we're going to a meet, and it might not even be far, but over time it just gets a little, repetitive and tiring. So can you speak to that at all?
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, so I do all my own business stuff too. I don't have a record label or a manager or an agent or anything. So I'm doing all that business stuff behind the scenes. And honestly, I try to eat healthy, eat vegetables. I try to get 8 hours of sleep every night. Sometimes it's not possible, but if I ever have to go like maybe 3 or 4 hours one night, I'll try to sleep a couple extra hours the next day. I always try to get enough sleep, eat vegetables, and I always like to go to the gym and work out. And between exercise and all that, it kind of keeps me balanced. And but yeah, I put a lot of hours into organize everything. But it's great. I mean, I love what I'm doing, so it's well worth all the work that I put into it.
And with being independent, do you feel like it gives you a lot more freedom in terms of the direction you want to go?
100%. I have worked with record labels and managers and stuff in the past, and they just always had, the artistic freedom. It's definitely worth it to, have to take on those tasks that those people were doing for me because they wanted me to do things like, the last person I worked with said I should sound more like John Mayer, and he'd give me more opportunities. But, and I'm like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of writing your own music if you're just going to sound like somebody that's already famous. So, and yeah, the artistic freedom's the main reason I do it, because a lot of my experiences with labels, agents, and managers have been kind of just, I learned some stuff from them, but I took it and kept moving.
Yeah, it takes the creative side out of, being an artist, which is the most important.
It is, and it is a balance, because, I mean, you do have to, like, treat it as a business, but when they're trying to make you like a McDonald's, kind of like the McDonald's of music, and just kind of like sound like everybody else, then that's defeats the purpose of being unique and doing your own thing.
Yeah. So speaking of creative freedom, you're promoting your latest album, Bryan's Super Happy Fun Time 4, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, it is my latest album, and then I also had a single come out in December, so that's called Mac and Cheese. So between the album Bryan's Super Happy Fun Time 4 and then the new single Mac and Cheese, I've got a lot of new music going on, and I'm actually also going to take a break from the road in August to record Bryan's Super Happy Fun Time 5.
Oh, okay. And just curious about the name. How did you come up with this name for the album?
Well, in life and in the world, there's a lot of, people get stressed out, they get anxiety. I mean, there's a lot of problems in life, but I wanted my music to just be like a refuge, like a safe haven from all that stuff. Like, you can check your problems at the door when you go into a Bryan's Super Happy Fun Time concert. You can forget about all that and just, my goal is just like, let people remember there's a lot of good things in life, and just, I think focusing on the good stuff and just trying to, keep your chin up when times are rough, and just keeping a positive attitude. That's what the Bryan's Super Happy Fun Time shows are all about. Because I mean, I know a lot of musicians that, like to have their kind of sad songs, which is fine. And I mean, I do write a sad song here and there, but, I just always wanted my music to be uplifting, and I love to see people leaving my concert with a smile on their face. If it's, somebody that didn't know exactly what to expect when they came in, and then they were like, oh, I like this. Just seeing the smile on their faces after they hear my music, it really makes me feel good.
Good. And I had the pleasure of listening to some of your music beforehand. And you mentioned your latest song, Mac and Cheese. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's off of an EP sharing the same name, right?
That is correct. Yeah, it is an EP. I incorrectly called it a single a minute ago.
And on the EP, there was a story about, well, basically how you got the name. And I think, if you don't mind, can you explain that to the listeners who may not know?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. So mac and cheese was based on when I was on the West Coast. A young man put a box of mac and cheese in my tip jar, and everyone started laughing at the young man. And he was like, "What?" I have a little like place card that says donations accepted and explains I'm a traveling musician, and he was like, it said donations. I thought he meant food donations. And then another person in the audience yelled out, "Hey, Bryan, you should write a song about the mac and cheese." So just and I love, like, that's what I love about touring, just those spontaneous moments where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna write a song and using the mac and cheese as a percussion instrument. I wish I would have brought the box.
Oh, yeah, when I learned, we were actually joking about probably going to the store and bringing it out, kind of like a Nova War style.
I should have brought my mac and cheese box. Yeah, the problem is though, playing them, they get worn out, and they'll get usually, luckily I haven't had any macaroni leak out at the show while I'm playing, but the boxes do bust after a while.
What brand of mac and cheese was it?
Kraft.
Kraft?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the old school, like, blue box, the classic blue box. But then, of course, some of my supporters that have come to shows, they'll bring, like, the fancy gourmet, like, here's the real gourmet fancy mac and cheese. And I'm like, all right, well, now I'll play the song with both boxes, using it as a percussion instrument.
And you mentioned that you're taking a break from touring in a little bit. Well, before I go into that question, let me just ask, as you are well-traveled, what's your, let's do your favorite place in the United States and then outside of the United States that you might visit regularly or, just visited.
Well, I gotta say, I love being in the South down here, and especially like here, Mississippi. I mean, it's the birthplace of rock and roll, blues, like all that great music. I mean, and so being down here in the South and in Mississippi in particular, it's great. As a matter of fact, I actually wrote a lot of the songs for my last album when I was camping out down here. There's just something about it, and just the fact that, like, it's the birthplace of rock and roll. So the South is great. I love the West Coast too. Midwest is great too. And as far as internationally, Europe's just been really great. The audiences there are just like really, really supportive, and yeah, I'm just lucky I've gotten to see so many cultures, and I always find something good about everywhere I go. I mean, 100%.
Oh, okay. What part of Europe would you say?
Oh, well, UK was pretty neat. I think I had a really good time in the United Kingdom last year. It is very scary driving on the left, though. It was really scary, but great audiences there, great venues. And, Germany's another great one. I had some Sweden, Poland. I mean, Denmark was great. I mean, really like all over the place. Like Italy had some great shows there. It's hard to nail it down. Czech Republic was another great country. And just, I don't know, it's almost going over there, being an American, they're like, oh, he's over here. He's not like Sabrina Carpenter level fame, but he's over here playing for us in, clubs and stuff. So I think a lot of people just respect that like, because I know a lot of American musicians are like scared to do it, which I get that too, but I've tried to just never let like the fear of doing something. It seems scary, but I mean, it's like jumping in a cold swimming pool. You get used to it after a couple minutes.
And you said you're taking a break from touring to work on your next album, Bryan Super Happy Fun Time 5. Just real quick, can you go into your creative process maybe, or what inspires you when you go into making music in general, but especially going into like a new album?
Oh yeah, well it's songwriting can be tricky, and that's why I definitely wanted to give myself a full month just to focus on getting the songs perfect, because a lot of the songs I write are like the mac and cheese songs, just stuff that happens on the road, that like things, interesting people I meet and things that happen that never would have happened if I wasn't doing this. And it's interesting because some songs come to me like right away. I'll be driving and a song comes to me like in a complete way, and then other songs I've been like tinkering with for years. Mm-hmm. It takes like years for me to like finally Frankenstein together some songs. So, between those two different methods, that's kind of, and I like to just, record some demos, which is kind of what I'm doing now, and just listen to my demos over and over and over again, and then, try to tweak them. And by the time I go into the real studio in August in Charlotte, then, everything's perfect and ready to go, and I'm well rehearsed and can make the most of the time because, studio time on the clock.
Yeah. And for the listeners who are listening and not watching the YouTube, Bryan has brought his guitar. Do you have anything you would like to play today?
Absolutely. I this is actually a song from my album before last, Bryan's Super Happy Fun Time 3, but it's one of my more popular songs, and I know a lot of the listeners might not have heard it when I was here last time. So it's called "I'm Your Super Mario," and I thought it would be appropriate to play since that movie just came out. Baby, I'm your Super Mario. Oh yeah, you're Super Mario. Give me a try, you won't be sorry, oh. Oh no, you won't be sorry, oh. I'm getting big, I'm getting super. I'm gonna save you from King Koopa. You're gonna be my Princess Peach. The level 8 castle is in my reach. Baby, I'm your Super Mario. Oh yeah, you're Super Mario. You just stay away from Wario. Oh no, don't go with Wario. You're gonna be my Princess Peach. The level 8 castle, it's in my reach. Well, all my dreams have come true, except the one where I save you. Where I save you. Yeah, all my dreams have come true, except the one where I save you. And I just wanna be your guy. We'll have a super happy fun time. Baby, I'm your Super Mario. Baby, I'm your Super Mario. Baby, I'm your Super Mario. Baby, I'm your Super Mario now.
Round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, that has been Bryan Bielanski, everybody. He will be performing at Hub City Beers tonight from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And you do have a website as well, right?
100%, and it is Bryan's superhappyfuntime.com, and that is Bryan with a Y.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you very much for coming. It's always a pleasure to have you back. And as I said previously, he will be performing at Hub City Beers from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So everyone go check him out. Thank you for coming and sharing your project with us. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate y'all very much.
Of course. That has been Bryan Bielanski, everybody. Up next, we got a news wrap on USM tennis duo success and matches from Kaden Robbins. Check her out.
Southern Miss's tennis duos are pushing the team to success. Through their first 8 games, the Golden Eagles hold an impressive 14-6 record in their doubles matches. Leading the way for the team is duo Angelina Blanova and Sakura Sudo. The duo stands undefeated in their first 6 doubles matches. Blanova says their on-court connection is fueled by their connection off the court.
Off the court, we actually spend a lot of time together, and we're pretty close. We actually got closer this year because it's also a new team, and getting to know every single person has been amazing. I feel like on the court, that's what helps us get on the same page. So we always got each other's backs. If there's like a difficult ball or rally, we got each other, and I feel like that's why it works so well.
Head coach Pine Arts engineer shared her mindset when pairing the duo together.
Because Sakura, she's a sophomore, Angelina, she's a senior, so she have experience. We try to put the best pair together that can help each other, complement each other. So we see the chemistry also, and we know they play well together in the circumstance that in the tough situation, and they try to find a way to fight and come back and win.
Despite only being a sophomore, Sudo already holds 2 wins in national tournaments. Bonova has her own share of success from her freshman year at Hampton University, where she earned second-team singles All-CAA honors. The team's overall double success places them at 4th in the Sun Belt Conference standings. Caden Robin, SM2.
Thank you for listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. Many thanks to Carl, our producer, Liam, our audio engineer, and Meadow, our film producer, for keeping this flight on track. We especially want to thank our general manager, Dr. Martin, as well as our special guest, Bryan Bielanski. That's all for today on Southern Miss Radio. Thank you all for listening, and remember to wear your seatbelts. I'm your host,